So, welcome to the Snake Tank once more.
This is episode 2, right?
It's episode 2. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was getting confused on the last one being like, because we did episode 00 for the start, but yeah, whatever.
This
Okay.
is episode 2, and I think we're gonna do our usual geesh, and then we're gonna have an intervention? No.
Not an intervention, but an interval.
Interval, yeah. With Miss Corpus, Lola, our really good friend, who, we live in quite dark times right now, and it was only fair to get political with 2 trans girls on this episode, but more to come
On that.
on that.
We wanted to start this, we wanted to, refresh the layout, so to speak, of how we're going to do things on the podcast. And we were thinking we would start off the episodes with a research image that we've been looking into at the moment of the week or whatever. And the image that I've been looking at of recent or thinking about has been images of Courtney Love, specifically this one where she has this white dress on and she has the words witch and slut brought on her arms. And I guess that could tie into the whole political witch hunt for trans people right now. But I guess Courtney Love isn't trans, but I guess the witch hunt is on women.
It is, and I think we've been speaking about archetypes so much this week, and kind of dismantling the archetypes, both gender-wise and also in creative endeavors,
For sure.
Yeah, it definitely feels like there's a witch hunt now, which ties into our fascination with the occult and how that ties into creativity as well. And I feel like you'll get more into the trans side of things with Lola, but I feel like there's a need to break the mold at the minute, which I feel why there's so much resistance from the conservative side of the world. And I think one of the things we've been speaking about this week was also breaking the mold in terms of career choices and just really letting people be free with their expression.
Yeah,
Right?
I feel like people have done this throughout time anyway. It's not a new concept, but the idea of the artist not just having to be one format of art, if that makes sense. I've never been that, and I don't know why I would even try and put myself into that mindset anyway.
Completely.
But the deeper I get into, it's just about having a process at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? And your process may take different formats at different times. It doesn't mean that it devalues any particular element of any particular genre of art. Do you know what I mean? That you make. It's if anything, I feel like now it strengthens it more because we're kind of these you're buying into us, and we come with a whole plethora of skills essentially and talents.
Completely. And I think it's all of us have grown up so deeply interlinked with the internet, and the internet itself is all about personality and displaying personality. I think we're really in the edge of that. I can't remember what I was reading, but it was someone speaking about pop music and the current pop landscape, and they were saying that pop music is simply performing personality. And I feel there's something in that feels against, like, the concept of craft. But also there's something about that can, like, lean so much further into craft. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's, like, really cultivating, like, artistry itself as a craft instead of, like, skills. Do you know what I mean? Just, like, really feeding your artistry instead of, like,
Yeah,
feeding the
just go.
well, you need good skills and you need to be technically
Yeah.
gifted as well, of course,
And I
but
feel like the better people are the ones that also are able to, like, know what they're doing in terms of, like, producing the vision as well. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, and nailing the execution as well. That's something that me and Riley always quote of Rick Owens' dad,
Daddy.
daddy, literally, where he says that, like, 90% is execution and 10% is concept. But I think that can also be read in the execution of your own artistry. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've been obsessed with Addison Rae, and, like, she's not really, like,
It's the execution.
it's the execution because, like, she's not really, like, the ingredients are not groundbreaking. Like, she's, like, a girl. What did you say? She was just, like, a lass.
She's just a lass being a lass. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's like kind of nothing more than that. Like, well, it is obviously way more than that, but it's like she's not pretending. Like, this is the way I see it anyway. Like, I feel like she's not pretending to be anything that she's not. She's just being, like, authentically her and authentically feminine and authentically, like, fashion. But in, like, a really, like, I don't even know how to put the words to it specifically, but it's just, like, it's really bringing me a lot of joy to, like, see her explore that, because I feel like, I don't know, listening to her music has brought me a lot of, like, gender euphoria for some reason, and I'm like, well, I kind of know why, but it's like, I don't know, it's quite palpable and, like, beautiful to watch unfold. Yeah.
And it's, like, both, like, really intuitive and, like, really, like, just, like, free. But the execution is also excellent in the same breath, which I think is, like, I don't know, it feels like it's really, like, a new era of, like, artists
But it
and
also doesn't
creatives.
feel like, I don't feel like I'm being force fed someone's, like, agenda either.
Oh my god, no, literally,
Like, where it feels really like the PR of it all is really calculated and stuff. Like, it feels like she's just like, I had this idea for a song and I went in and I made it, and, like, it was how I was feeling, like,
at the time.
yeah, and, like, it really I can I can feel it in the music. It's not
Completely.
like, it doesn't feel like this facade, like how particular shades of music that have come out recently that have just felt like kind of like off the back of what Charlie XCX has, like, done, but, like, that worked for her because it was, like, authentic to her, you
Completely.
know? Like, and, like, as I said, as I will say later on in the podcast, like, authenticity is gonna cut through like a knife,
That's gonna cut through like a knife, and I think it's, like,
and I have no sympathy.
no sympathy whatsoever.
No, I'm
Um,
sick of it.
I've just been really, like, thinking about that. This is gonna sound so shallow and blah blah, but, like, part of, like, making music these days is, like, making content and stuff. And I've had, like, a couple months where I was like, yes, content, I'm gonna be militant. This is how it's gonna happen. But spoiler, it didn't happen. So like, I don't know, it just made me really think about it just doesn't feel natural. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't feel exploratory. It doesn't feel any of that. And, like, I feel like just
It has to, like, I feel like some of the best things that you've done that are, like, little snippets or whatever
sure.
are things where you've been like, "Oh, I had this amazing idea and it just, like, came to me, and then I just executed it and then just put it out." Like, you can't really, like, I feel like that's the same with me as well. Like,
Yeah,
if I have the idea,
do it.
I'll just do it. But you can't really, like, you can't force You can't force the source.
You can't force the source, and I think, like, Zach really, because I think I was, like, reading my head about writing before. Like, I think the first couple songs I was reading my head, and I was like, it needs to be this, like, poetic thing, and, like, I think, like, the poetry of it comes through. But, like, you need to let it flow. It's so weird. It's, like, almost like I'm gonna sound like such a pompous cunt. Sorry. But can we say cunt? No, we can't say cunt.
Yeah, cunty.
Cunty. But I'm gonna sound like such a pompous cunt, but, like, yeah, I just feel like you let the poetry, like, flow through you. Do you know what I mean? It's, like, almost like a spiritual, like, practice.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate saying that, but, like, do you know what I mean? It's just, like,
No,
really, like,
no.
opening yourself up to the source. Well, your source is within you. Like, it's always within you. You're just, like, kind of, like, refining how you let it happen, and you, like, make your environment better so, like, you can just, like, focus on.
I don't think it's pompous or wild to say those words, because I feel like you have to be in a very particular state to write. I mean, I write as well. Like,
Yeah.
it is spiritual. Like, when I write, I feel like you're like decoding your existence and putting it and framing it in a like way that people on a mass scale get to relate to. Do you know what I mean? Like,
No, completely, and it's, like, you're kind of, like, what's the opposite of, like, diluting? You're, like, extracting, like, the core parts of that. Like, there's, like, so much, like, I don't know, when I was, like, I did this, like, main songwriting, and, like, the tutor was always like, just don't go about, don't describe the moment, just go straight to the moment. And that's, like, something I've been thinking about so much. And a friend of mine from Napoli, Potito, told me, like, your music feels like you're not escaping the moment, you're just going deeper into it. And I was like, that's like sorry, oh my god, I'm gonna sound like such a con on this episode, but anyways, I've been thinking about that so much, just, like, going deeper into the moment and, like, really grasping what the moment is, the vibe whatsoever, but, like, just going really deeper into the moment. Yeah, that's something I've been thinking about, and, like, just really being in the condition mentally and physically, which I haven't really been for the past week. 'Cause I've fucking fucked up my back. But anyways, that's a sideways.
helping me move house. Oops.
Boots. Anyways, we're recovered now, so it's fine. Come on, physio, let's get sickening. But and it's what am I even saying? But yeah, I think it's just, like, I don't know, we've been speaking about, like, growing up so much because Nova, like, just moved into a new house that feels, like, really adult and, like, cozy and beautiful, and, like, how weird it is from, like, we literally met on this, like, fucking trip to Berlin, like, the first time I met you. Jesus Christ.
We're not gonna go there.
We're not gonna go there, but it was dark-sided, and just, like, thinking that we're, like,
How the tables have turned.
one thing about them tables,
They turn.
they turn.
They do be turning. No, it's like, yeah, it's like I've been having these feelings since I moved into this flat, being like kind of the way I feel when I go to Harrods. I don't know how to describe it. No, like, I go to Harrods often. I've literally been to Harrods one time, but, like, that was for a special a thing. But anyway, when I go into Harrods, I feel like an imposter, and I
Yeah.
feel like growing up quite poor, I, like, feel as though, like, this flat that I have now, like, I feel like I don't know, I feel like it's, like, something I've always wanted, and I, like, didn't think that it would be a reality for me, or, like, that I deserved it, or, like, many of these things, 'cause the complex links to growing up poor, but, um, like, I'm, like, I'm not saying that I can't see that I deserve it, obviously, but, like, it's a crazy move. It's
It's a crazy move, and it's also, like, the prioritizing, like, coziness and the light, like even the light that's in your room and just like the comfort and the new mattress and stuff like that. I don't know, it's just like making sure that you have like the like optimal conditions to like let the source come to you. Actually, I was gonna pull up we can go into the sexier side of things maybe later in a sec, but actually I think like my research image of the week is this screenshot from Amy Winehouse's like Twitter from like 2009 that I've been thinking about all the time, but it's like this tweet that she made and it says like songs write themselves, boy, and themselves is like capital. Anyways, I'll just put it in the video version of the pod, but I think songs do write themselves, like it's like
They do. Any piece of writing writes itself.
yeah, it does.
But you just have to have the right conditions
And
in
like
which to write it. Like
and untangling the fucking, you know,
the vocabulary.
the vocabulary. No, literally. Why did I go American for like 2 seconds?
I don't know, let it be.
Let it rip.
Slip.
But yeah, that's also like, I don't know, just like going deeper into your body, and I think
It's very vulnerable.
it's very vulnerable, and like, I don't know, I just feel like a lot. It's weird because I feel like there's like two forces in culture right now. One that's like completely like, I mean, the web of lies and like all of that, like pushing like even in America, like all the fucking bullshit that's going on politically, and like all the like oversaturation of media. But then there's also like this other force that's like complete vulnerability that I think like people our generation and under have, that's like pushing that, and it's like, I don't know, just like an open heartedness and then like a unwillingness to like let things change that are like clashing, which I mean you and Lola will get into severely, but yeah, I just feel like it's like a weird like clash between vulnerability and like, I don't know, maybe it's like older generation, new generation, and like we have complete polar views of the world.
We really do, because I feel like people beyond a certain age group, and this isn't like being ageist or anything,
Yeah.
but like we have lived completely different lives.
Oh no, absolutely. Well, the access to the internet, like I don't want to be like the internet, but like
But the internet.
but the internet, like the access to the internet and like knowledge and like even
our parents like don't really
know it the way that we know it.
know.
Like, I mean, the other image I was gonna pull up was a FETLIFE image of.
They definitely don't know that.
Oh, they definitely didn't.
Too.
No, they definitely don't know FETLIFE, and I really hope they'll never find this on the internet. I'm just gonna put it out there. But yeah, anyways, I've been obsessed with FETLIFE. We all have for a long time, and I feel like I'm like engaging more. I'm not gonna delve too deep into it, but I've like really been.
Yeah, we're not gonna go into our own personal niches
And all of that, but I've been really exploring that side of myself, and I don't know, just like there's something like about vulnerability. I was gonna put basically.
Sex is a powerful tool.
It's a powerful tool, and I feel like it can go really deep for creativity, as well as having this conversation with someone.
That conversation we were having outside House of with Camila.
With Camila.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, no, totally. Shout out to Camila, like literally the biggest heart and head and brain and everything in the world. Like, love you, 2 bits and bobs. Love you. My Italian queen, ti amo sore. Sorry, I need to slip.
Go for it.
But I was gonna say, I keep checking the camera because I'm scared it's gonna turn off.
Yeah, no, we're like
breaking the fourth wall, but
the fourth wall always needs to be broken.
Absolutely. I think there's like, I don't know, the vulnerability and like, I mean, even Miss Addison Rae, like the sex, and it ties into the like whore, the witch, and the mother archetypes that we were talking about with Miss Courtney. Like, I don't know, there's like a vulnerability and like a realness.
It's just womanhood. We cut out, but we were like talking about the witch mother hot archetype. And then we were saying like, and I was saying that it comes back to the feminine really, but like then you were saying your relationship with that is quite different.
Yeah, we were like, I was actually having a conversation with Lola, who will come on after. I feel like I said that 300 times. But while I was having this conversation, I mean, everyone in my life knows, but I've been basically like a dyke my whole life. And this year I started dating men in a very specific context relating to, dom sub dynamics. We're talking about vulnerability. I'm going to be vulnerable in the pod today. But
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And we were saying that, I am non-binary and like I have very difficult relationship with like femininity, but somehow like by being more dominant with men and like really stepping into this sort of figure, I kind of like came to terms with the femininity. And like Lola was saying that the type of feminine that, like she specifically sees in herself as like a trans woman, which she'll touch on herself, but is really similar to the way of like hyper femininity that I present when I'm tapping into the feminine. Like I'm like red lipstick, like I'm gonna go for the full thing, and then I can look like Bob the Builder with a cap and a trackie. I mean, today's a bit of a fusion of that, and I feel like we also talk about that a lot because we both
I feel like we're both the kind of yin and yang of each other in that sense.
completely.
I feel like you have a hard time tapping into the feminine. Sometimes I have a hard time tapping into the masculine, but I mean, I'm sat here also in Bob the Builder Geesh / Kavari merch / Ollie Chinder. But the I don't know where I was going with that. No, like I've kind of got to a point now with the duality of the both sides or the none or the whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. That I'm like, I don't even really have to think too deeply about what all of those elements mean. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know there is intrinsically a feminine rage at the core of it all,
Yeah, completely.
but that doesn't devalue your. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it doesn't devalue.
Your non-binary T is so valid.
Yeah,
Sis.
non-binary T is valid, like, and doesn't take away that element if you are like choosing to present in a way that doesn't match that, you know?
No, completely. And like me and Lola were also saying that like in relation to like, I think because I've like been interacting with a lot of bi queer men, but also a lot of like bi queer men on the DL, and like
Haven't we all?
Literally. And there's gonna be like a shade of it discussed. Anyways, I'm gonna stop saying that. But anyways, yeah, because I've been saying to you like I can't grant you freedom when I've fought so hard to like find it for myself. But in the same breath, like, sorry, I feel like I've been like in a schizo mode trying to go about this, but there's like such a specific flavor of like hyper femininity that relates to like the dom flavor of things that can also, it's like an androgynous like hyper femininity. I don't know how to
which really is the kind of crux of your work also.
No, it is. It's like always like we always say like it's like Elvis impersonator, but also it's like showgirl, and it's also like John Travolta, and it's also boxer, but it's also like rock chick, and it's also like pop star and blah blah. And it's like it's so complex. I haven't really unraveled it yet, but this year feels quite fundamental for that.
We were saying last year was the year of realizing things, but this year is the year of actualizing things.
Yeah, we're actualizing, making moves,
Yeah, I feel like last year was definitely a lot of like
thinking.
revelations
Fucking hell.
work-wise.
Fucking
Like
hell.
so much happened last year that
Oh my god,
maybe not even that anybody has maybe even seen yet, but it's like more working on the like law
of the
our
world.
practices.
Completely, and I think it's like going deeper within ourselves, and it feels like scary to like isolate in a way and go deeper, but that's what we're saying, just like going back and like connecting to the source and stuff. And it's like going back to like the gender expression side of things. Like I feel like I've like swam so much against like traits that make me like intrinsically me. I'm really being like big ego boots this episode. I apologize, but
we don't even need to say any of that. Like,
okay. Like
your non-binary tea is valid.
my non-binary tea is so valid, but what was I gonna say? We're such faggots.
Literally.
Like such faggots. Faggottinis. And then on that note, I think I've like
Help.
I can't deal with that. But I feel like I've run away so much from like even like physiological things about myself that make me like more androgynous. Like I've always had like a square jaw, and I've had like a big chin, and I've had like, you know, I've been built and stuff, and I'm like I want to lean even more into that, and like this sort of like kinky space is giving me like even more validation on my non-binary tea, if that makes sense, because there's like so many nuances, and like there's so much like stylistic things going into it. But yeah, I'm sure we'll delve further into the sex and kink of it all, but I think it's just like all about going like deeper into the source this year.
Because I feel like when you kind of get in touch with that like true pleasure center.
Yeah.
Welcome to the pleasure dome.
Don't talk about my dad like that. My dad's
There's several dads in the mix.
the dad is
Baby
which
daddies.
is weird. No.
No.
No,
You won't be catching that.
no, I am the daddy. There's no baby there's no breeding in this house going on. No breeding. No breeding. For me at least, there's no breeding.
No comment.
No comment on that. Let's just move on.
Where were we? Pleasure dome. Yeah, it's like tapping into what makes you tick, you know?
No,
What
completely.
makes that clock go round. And that an element of that is pleasure.
No,
An
it is.
element of pleasure is sex. And sex makes the world go round.
It really does. I think like, oh my god, I was having this chat with Riley, biggest friend of the pod, always name dropping, my bestie. But yeah, we were saying this year was really feeling like we understood the like intricacies of like power, sex, work, and like it feels like we're alive for the first time. I don't know if it's like the Saturn return. I mean, Riley is like a couple years older, but I don't know. It feels like I really can see the world for what it is, like the structures of power. And I don't know if because we had to deal with so many like in quote unquote like powerful men, and like I don't know, I'm just like really seeing the world for what it is, and like there's like I'm also like seeing this like underbelly of it, which is like completely like reversing the power structure. Because like I mean the research image I was gonna pull up is someone in a vacuum latex bed with a cock cage on, and like there's something so powerful about that image. I don't know, it's like the subtleness of the latex and the
cage.
I don't know, I just really feel like
The outline of the cage.
yeah,
The embossed cage.
embossed cage is just like the
Emboss me. Wow. Emboss me around.
Emboss me around. Oh yeah, emboss me around. You spin me right round.
Baby, right round.
Come on.
Like
now. Record.
Baby?
Right round.
Right round.
R.I.P. Pete.
Legend, yeah.
Legend. Sorry, I went on a big rant there.
I don't even know where we were now.
No, neither. Should we
We check the key points.
Yeah.
We're
We're trying to be more profesh, but
trying to take it to that kind of place. Well,
we talked about like. Well, I guess if we're talking about pleasure, we've also like talked about being off the dating apps in our like personal life and really looking in, like, and it just goes like it ties into like you getting into your gorgeous cozy flat. And
yeah, because I've made a rule. I'm like, there's no men allowed in my flat unless they like are just like, I don't even know how to describe what the version of this man would look like, but he would have to be fucking exceptional to even like get inside my bedroom, because that is my like safe space.
yeah. And I jokingly said like that's gonna be a house with a blue plaque one day. It's gonna be a fundamental one.
No, for real. That room is gonna have a film written in it. A very important film written in it.
Absolutely.
The film that has been started to be written, but
it's time to
like details on that. But I'm locking right in on that. Like, yeah, let's humanize trans people.
Yeah. Should we end it on that note and leave the floor to Miss Corpus?
Yeah. Tune in for a little non-visual but verbal segment.
Absolutamente. I'm gonna go off camera and leave the floor to Lola because I think it's important that you two have this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So,
goodbye.
Bye.
Hi. I just wanted to like gateway into what am I even saying? I'm like
We've got a little segment for you.
We've got a little segment in here for you in terms of the witch trials that we're facing right now. I don't know, it just kind of like is starting to really get under my skin more than it has in a long time, but how can it not when so many things are going off? I just feel as though like I'm not usually an outwardly political person.
We're not usually even affected by like politics. I feel like usually like
No, obviously politics like do affect us all directly or indirectly in many different shapes and forms, but right now obviously it's very direct and like
it's just hard to avoid right now as well. Like it's hard to like it's everyone feels anxious about it. I feel like everyone who's trans like feels really scared. And like I can hear it from everybody else and I can feel it as well. And I think that's why it feels like a witch trials, because it's very like, do you not feel though it's like witch trials, but like who are we like putting on trial kind of thing? Like what have we like, at least witches were being put on trial for witchcraft. Like we're not, what are we doing? Like
yeah, what are we being put on trial for existing?
I mean barely. Like barely, like
the barely letting us exist.
It's the fact that like what tiny little cracks of light we managed to scrape for ourselves are being like, oh no, like pulled away from us like instantly. I just feel like the world is moving into a direction that was actually like back in time. I don't know, we're like moving back in time. Like we're going backwards. It feels more like the 80s, like politically speaking, and it just like, the 90s, and it just like 2025. Like
we've come so far, but we've taken like 10 steps backwards.
It's terrifying, but I'm also like really dare I say, like, low-key excited, because I'm like, I really want like I was saying before, like, I really want something, like, really, I just want the table to be flipped up on its head, and I want everything to be, like, shifted and changed. I feel like I feel like
to get
trans
to, like,
people exposes the, like, trans people existing and, like, becoming more, just becoming more visible, I guess, sheds a light in the, like, purest way of how much things just don't work, like, as in on, like, on a massive scale. Like, I'm not talking about, like, just, like, the way everything is run, like, everywhere, in every country. I mean, obviously in every country, but I can only speak for, like, the UK, because we live in the UK.
but it has a lot to do with the West
Yeah.
specifically, because
Go on, move and tell me.
a lot of these, like, ideologies or, like, opinions towards trans people, like, are not the same types of things that are shared in, like, so many other countries. Like, for example, like, I mean, so many people have spoken about this before, but, like, trans people have existed, like, for fucking ever, like, culturally and, like, spiritually, and, like, they've been celebrated across so many other cultures that, like, it's hard for me to wrap my head around the fact that, like, people are treating this like it's, like, this new, like, people still see it as this, like, new thing, and it's, like, the easiest thing for people to latch on and target, because it's, like, I mean, it's the same with all minority groups, but it's, like, easiest with trans women or, like, trans people for some reason, because it's, like,
But they're most vulnerable,
yeah.
and I often find that, like, there's so many reasons why, like, us being the most vulnerable is, like, it works in their favor in, like, so many ways. I often find that, like, there's a lot of trans people that are, like, arguing against the rights of trans people, because I find that, like, trans people generally need to, like, protect themselves the most. That's where you get the, like, Blair Whites and things like that, where they, like, to protect themselves, they will, like, adopt, like, negative viewpoints for trans people to, like, be like, I'm with you, like, I'm not with that, I'm with you, like, I hate that, like.
Yeah, I mean, that's, like, in the that comes into, like, the binary of it all somehow, because it's, like, when you go so deep into wanting to go one way, which is kind of, like, the most heteronormative, or, like, I don't even know if that's the right word in this context, but,
Just
like,
digestible, like, just
the most, like,
recognizable.
easy for, like, those people to, like, accept you. Like, that's the, like, if you've, like, gone all the way, got all the surgery, and you just are, like, passing or whatever, which, gross word. But, like,
Right.
like, somehow these trans people are like, oh, I will be accepted by those people, but, like, you're never gonna be accepted by those people. They're never gonna, like,
Also, like, why are we trying to, like, slot ourselves in to
appease
the, like,
those people.
why is society not, like, why is society not more diverse? Like, why are we encouraging everyone to, like, conform down to, like, finite details, like the garments they wear and everything like that? We should.
I'm not urging people to all the different. How the hell are we still there?
Yeah.
Like, that concept, and the, like,
We're not
yeah,
even there, like,
all of
we're
that.
like going backwards again, like, we're, like, asking I don't know how I'm trying to say this, but, like, things are getting worse and worse and worse, and I'm like, I don't know, I do feel like we went too far for us to go back now. So, like, with
It has to.
this reversal of us going back, I feel like it's just gonna, like, I don't know, I don't think we're just gonna keep going backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. I feel like eventually everything's just gonna break, and, like, we're gonna be like, I need to rejig everything around. I'm not just talking about, like, just the way we like communicate with each other and like act around each other and like the language we use and like the way that's taught in schools and just so many things that like need to change from the bottom up in order for like anything to change. But it's like in the best interest for like anyone who isn't a white man to like do it. Like it doesn't just benefit like trans people.
Men in the same breath of this scenario as well. I'm like, I just feel like I am not your gateway for your freedom. Shout out GUIA for that one. Like, I am free. Like, I know exactly who I am and like exactly what I want and exactly what I'm striving to achieve, and like that is threatening, or that is like seen as this shiny little thing that like a lot of men like want but like don't want all of. They like want it to like try and set them free, and I'm like, I'm not your freedom. Like, you have to find that yourself. And like that also comes with the like, I don't know, maybe this is just like too personal for like
No, do you mean
with me, but
do you mean,
like
what do you mean by free? Like men
like
were like
men in general aren't as free. Like, we know
obviously
toxic masculinity and all that geesh, but it's like they often come to trans girls because they like know that we have this, like you said, this kind of like wisdom that goes beyond like the wisdom of like, and that's not me being like, oh, I'm really smart, like I'm smarter than anybody else, but like we have this kind of thing within us that we've like not had any other option but to have, and we have it.
I think
And
there's
then these men, they like see that kind of magic in us, and they like, I'm not mad at the fact that like I can give you like the opportunity to be yourself, because I want everybody to be able to have that, but like don't come to me and like only use me for that, you know? Like,
I find as well like men generally, if you like look at all the society, like men are like the most repetitive, or like the most like captivated by what they're told to look like, as in like men will follow the rhythm of how to like present yourself in society, like harder than any other group of people, like harder than women obviously, and like obviously so many reasons. But I feel like straight men find like a comfort in the security that we have in our self-identity, like, and it's freeing for them to like be around someone who is so secure in their self-identity, when that's something that I find often straight men are like the least secure in. And the areas that are secure in are like generally the areas that we aren't, and the magnet of that is like so intense, like. But it's when men are like seeking, I feel like this is a more niche perspective that we experience, but like because of our alignment in creative fields and obvious like longevity in like creative fields, because we've like had no other choice but to do this, like this has been like the only path really for us as a way to like live or express anything, that they like are magnetized by us in that sense, to like, it's a gateway.
yeah, because it's not
Or a
gonna
guy
just
to like enter so many areas of like, I also feel like it's just like a badge of honor as well for like some straight men, which I hate, like to be able to have like done that, and like
what, to have been with us.
yeah, like to have dated a trans girl, or like I've slept with a trans girl, or
Yeah, like woohoo.
like I'm queer now.
Yeah,
I do feel like that often is sometimes like the big one as well, like
yeah,
straight men who want to be part of the queer community, because it's so like appetizing and so sexualized, and they're like, how can I like enter this world? And by dating a trans woman, you've got like the pass, you've got given the card, like
so now you can do anything.
Yeah, we've
Like-
been given the card, and like I feel like it's the only time like straight men get the card and can keep the card. Like,
And I'm like, you've not earned the card though.
I mean, the card is like not for you. Right?
The card
The
declined.
card was never meant for you. The card exists because you wrote this. Like, we need a card to like. Yeah. Anyway, we need to differentiate ourselves from that.
Yeah.
It's just really depressing because I mean, the minute like in America we don't exist according to law, and like
And
just
then
everything is like everything to do with trans people as well is so just niche. Like everything that's discussed is so niche. Everything that's like the topic of conversation to do with trans people is so frequently like niche areas that affect no one. And it's really weird as well that like the only things that are spoken about to do with trans people are the areas that even trans people don't have the answers for. For e.g. sports, like there's so many nuances, I guess, in my opinion, to like sport. I'm not saying it's
because there isn't like many examples, and the examples that we do have, even still, are like extremes.
yeah.
Like we were saying earlier, like it's the Blair Whites or it's the like blue hairs.
Yeah, and it's like, well, why are we arguing about like those things that affect like none of us? Like, I mean, basically affect none of us. Like, there's so many things that we should be talking about that are like actually a problem. For e.g., like how hard it is and how we need to like change the way that like the fact that like so many trans people I think just don't feel comfortable like leaving the house because they're scared for their lives. Like that should be where we start. I think like let's work
Not
on
the
that
fucking
bit.
bathrooms.
It's not the like who gives a shit about that like sports and bathrooms when like you can't even leave the house. Like it's just depressing. Like no one's speaking in the like bigger world of people speaking. Like no one's speaking about any of the like actual things that are like an issue for us on a day-to-day basis. And the list goes on. Like the list is so long of things that we like.
And that's why like inherently we just are political, like by existing.
Yeah, especially right now. We are like the center point of so much political discourse. Sorry about the vape.
Yeah, I don't even know. I feel like we just went all the way to Chinatown.
I just want to. I'm like, how everybody who hears this is like encouraged as I am to like. I feel like we need like a revolution or something. I was saying earlier, I was like
The Mockingjay.
listening literally. I was like listening to something about the French Revolution earlier and like all of the people involved and like all it just not really about it. Just like I was just basically like listening to like the whole thing basically, like how it went down, who was involved, like why they did what they did, and like what was going on. And I'm like, that's what we need. Like we need everything to be like flipped on its head, like because nothing works. Yeah. Pushing as well. I feel like the only thing that we can do as well is like push like true versions of the experience forward, and like
the humanizing.
Yeah, and the humanizing, or if you're me, the like I don't know the word. I was gonna try and use a word ending in izing, but I feel like you and I want to like show the like really beautiful side of being trans, because like it's always the like freaky deaky side, which is a side that we all have to go through and like is a side, but like it's such a like a painful side to the trans experience that like I don't always see the need to like advertise like to throw that up in the air. Like there's such a like beautiful, fragile,
pure
purity in like the trans experience. And I mean also like who are better to like have experience than someone who's like experienced what it's like to be treated like male and female
Mm.
and everything in between, which is most of us have experienced like all of that, and how like the world retreats you depending on like how you express yourself, and like the people, like not many people have had that experience, like unless you're trans, like you haven't had that experience, and I feel like that's a really like crazy.
That's always been in like every iteration of ourselves has always been like a feminine version of whatever gender expression that might be, but like
Which
the
is
feminine has always been the most like frowned upon.
and the most I don't know the like nice word, but like unsafe or the most like, vulnerable. That's the word I was looking for. To be feminine is like to be vulnerable.
And that's not like in some sort of like political way of being like women are weak or like
No, you're just like vulnerable because like by being feminine, like there's a hell of a lot of people that want to like be involved in you. I don't know how else to say it. Like I don't just mean sexually. I mean like
I mean
every way.
they want to be in you and then they want to kill you.
I mean there's that, yeah. But like they're just by being feminine, you're like a magnet for like darker things, darker masculine things. I feel like being, yeah. Yeah, I was gonna run away then, but yeah. That experience is like really nuanced and really profound and really like I just don't feel like people like talk about that as well. Like the fact that I've like experienced a world where the world was treating me as a man, and I've experienced the world where the world was treating me as like something in between, and I've experienced the world as the world treating me as a woman, and for that reason I have like a really intelligent I have like a more like broader idea of what it's like to like live in this like world than most people.
That's why I keep feeling as well that like authenticity will really like cut like a knife through everything soon. Like
We'll have
and I have a lot to say on that, but I'm not gonna like fully dive into it. But I also want to say on that note that like we, because of this, can like really see through the shit of like when people's work or people's sense of self is not real.
Yeah.
I don't know. And like that really also has pissed me off on a lot of different levels to do with a lot of different things, specifically in the work realm.
A lot of different motherfuckers.
Yeah, a lot of different motherfuckers out there that need to be quietened down.
So they don't just be put down, they just don't need to be taking up that space.
Yeah, they need to like
lines.
put the baton down and like put our baton down and like stop taking up our space and stop using our terminology which isn't yours, because we hardly have any of that and hardly have any history, so like can you not please,
or even just stop using like us as in what and you.
Yeah, stop doing that.
Stop using like
Stop using the source material. Like find your own.
I'm just seeing a lot of repetition recently. A lot of repetition in the like creative
And
world.
we love repetition.
There's always been a lot of that, but like it does feel at the minute like we're regurgitating what we just regurgitated because we just regurgitated it, and like we're just gonna keep regurgitating like the same, slightly like different every time, like very slightly, like ever so slightly different. Yeah. I don't even remember what I said.
The regurgitation station.
Yeah. We're just seeing regurgitations of things, and like I feel like whenever a trans person puts I mean, maybe not every trans person, but I feel like when certain trans people or people who have an experience through the trans experience put something out and it is authentic, because let's be honest, like, it's hard to not be when you're trans, like, to just be authentic like this is so hard not to be. People nibble on that, and then we just see regurgitations of it, or we see it injected into like aesthetics that already exist, and it's just like a constant. I mean, I know this happens anyway, like with work and ideas and things, like everything
Everything is a conversation.
is a conversation, and everything is all constantly in a blender of like ideas. But when it's like a community that barely have a voice / don't have a voice and are on the margins, and from my experience, most trans people, like, unless they do sex work, really are poor. So like have a more harder time getting their idea all the way to the end of the finish line, and like yeah, to the front. Like they have struggled to do that.
Because our day-to-day is not just a wash and go. It's
I
like
mean, yeah,
it's like not just 10 impossible things before breakfast, like
literally.
before we even can get around to thinking about like pushing the work, you know?
It's just frustrating because it's really easy for the people to like God, I'm moaning so much on this episode.
No, it's
But-
not moaning, it's just the reality.
Yeah, I don't know. There's really like amazing things going on right now at the same time though.
Yeah.
And there's really like,
This isn't to take away from anything that we're working towards, or like we're still fighting.
if anything, like what's going on right now gives me more of like an oomph
fuel.
than it did before. Like I was kind of feeling a bit like, God, everything is so bad. Like how can I like just make clothes? Like how can I just do fashion and like be a part of that world when there's so much like horrible dark shit that I feel like just needs attention, and I feel obligated to like put attention on it. But then I was like, actually, like there isn't trans people in like any field really.
No.
Apart from like there's a few in film right now and TV, but like there isn't really trans people in any field. Speaking of that experience and speaking of that like way of living,
Brutal femininity. Am I right?
exactly. And I don't mind being the one in fashion to do that, like, because that's how like I work anyway, and like it's always like an injection of my body and my experience, and it like really shows. And I think that's like important. There's a lot of people that maybe like are doing it, but it's in like such a subtle, nuanced way. Like it's just no one's really paying any attention to it, or like has any idea that that's what they're looking at.
Miss Body.
Exactly.
Okay.
Her out.
Yeah.
Peace.
Thanks for coming in and saying your little two pence.
Sorry if I was negative.
No, it's not negative at all. It needs to be said and people need to hear it.
I just feel like the only way to like, we need to be a bit like we need to see the negative in order to like go against it. I don't know, and call it what it is.
Yeah, because most people don't get to hear this.
They don't.
Thank you.